Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center and Unity Online. My name is Rev Ann Ahokangas, and I'm here with Emilio Zaris, our music director. We are so delighted to bring you yet another spiritual message and some spiritual tools to help your life be magnificent, because there is that possibility. So let's start with our first song, A Million Dreams.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care if they call me crazy. We could live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. See, I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. A vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. We may be right, we may be wrong, but I wanna bring you along to the world I see, to the world we close our eyes to see, we close our eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me away. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Ah, A Million Dreams. Life is for living. This is by Natalia Kolatz? Kolach.
Yeah, she didn't compose this song, but she's playing this particular arrangement.
Very nice.
Yeah. Life is for living. Whatever you will live for, you will give. Life is for giving. Whatever you will give to life will live. Life is for doing, for living, giving, doing, learning how. Life is for you and life is for me. Life is for living now. Sing it with me. Life is for loving. Whatever you will love, enough is yours. Life is for sharing. Whatever you will share with others grows. Life is for being, for loving, sharing, being, learning how. Life is for you and life is for me. Life is for living now. Life is for living now.
Join with me for this opening intention. As I breathe and relax and bring my awareness to my heart center, I know without a doubt that life is for living, for loving, for laughing. For Spirit is all those good things and more. And Spirit in me, through me, is just waiting to express as all those good things. So today I set my intention on living life with joy, with peace, with abundance, with harmony, with all good things. I am so grateful, and this grateful heart continues to overflow. Knowing these words go out to Spirit and are always coming back to me fulfilled. I let go and I let it be so. Please join with me in affirming, and so it is. Get ready, my soul, Daniel Namot and Emilio Zaras.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever been, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here am seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. And here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Beautiful. The absolute word for today: live boldly. I live boldly and joyfully from my divine identity. In the past, I might have been tempted to tiptoe through life, perhaps concerned that too much enthusiasm was not compatible with whatever degree of spiritual awareness I had achieved. Jesus set a different example. He lived his life boldly, whether he was teaching, demonstrating, or sharing a meal with friends. He could have separated from the world for a life of quiet contemplation. Instead, he carried his radically new spiritual message into the very heart of the world in which he lived. I boldly follow Jesus' example. I accept the joys and challenges of my life. I use it all for my good and the good of others. This year, 2021, is the year of looking up and beyond the circumstances to the truth of our being. And this month is our Holy, Holy month. Today's topic is boldly living a new story. And I'd like to really look at that because I was remembering that I took this class quite a while ago, and it was on forgiveness, I think, and it was at one of the conventions. And the woman asked us, "Who are you?" and go into pairs and talk about who are you. And I remember each and every one of us basically talked about all of the things that we do rather than who we are. And so I'd like to look at that as in, what are your stories? And are they serving you? So what is your story? I remember this man who was giving seminars, and he was giving them for probably about 10 years. And he was always doing the same seminar and telling the same stories and telling the horrible things that had happened to him that got him to where he was able to overcome his situation. And I remember asking him after the seminar was over, but how are you able to continue to talk about that, because that isn't who you are anymore? And he said, you're right. It's really difficult to tell those old stories because I am not that man anymore. I am not those experiences anymore. They're just distant memories. And so what is your story? What story are you telling on a regular basis that isn't who you are anymore? So here I have a picture of skin and hair and the roots. And you're going to wonder, like, what am I going to talk about having to do with stories and hair and roots? Well, my roots come from working in the hair business for about 40 years. And so I know I look really good for my age, don't I? The story is this, that at part of the time that I was working, we offered hair transplants, which were done by a really fabulous doctor in Montreal. And he would take the skin from the back of the head in strips and then cut them up into 2 or 3 hair roots each, and then implant them in the area where the hair had started to get thin. And generally speaking, the person wasn't completely bald. They had hair, but maybe 50% of what they used to have. And so these hair transplants might have taken 4 or 5 sessions to totally fill in the area with time to heal in between each session. Now, the interesting thing that was happening was that within the first round of hair transplantation, the hair around the areas where the new roots were implanted started to be more vibrant and started to be healthier and thicker. And I remember talking to the surgeon saying, so then what that means is that people won't have to have as many of these surgeries. And he said, yes, it seems to be the case that the messages from the skin that was put there that was healthy and really vibrant had kind of radiated out to the skin around it and given it the same message. And so as a consequence, all of the hair in that area started to grow like it was healthy and more vibrant, like it was when that person was younger. So why am I sharing that story? Well, the thing is that when you start to implant more positive, affirmative ideas in your mind, that the negative starts to easily transform and move away. When you start to affirm and know that good is coming into your life, you create these vibrations that then attract to you more of the good and more of the positive. So can you see how if you're telling the negative, low-energy stories all of the time, you're maintaining a certain kind of vibration around you? And it's really difficult for the good to start to come in. But when you're focusing on what's going well and how you choose to feel instead, that you then become the attractor factor for even more good to show up in your life. So you are boldly creating and living a new story when you start to focus on that which you choose to have grow. So you can still talk about blank, the terrible time you had, the way that you might have been hurt, an old marriage, whatever, but also be on the leading edge of who you have become, not who you were. There comes a point in all of our lives where we need to evaluate what it is that we're focusing on. Would you agree that that's true? So are you willing to release any of the limiting identities that you have brought into the now? Just release them. And just like taking an eraser, just rub them out. Who are you now? Who are you wanting to become? Who are you willing to embody as you? What story are you ready to tell that perhaps you hadn't been telling? So perhaps it's, I'm the person who was in this marriage or job or mindset, and I left it, and that's fine. But what could you say instead? I am really comfortable being single, and yet I'm ready and open for another relationship. Perhaps that's the new story. Or releasing the old job. I have all kinds of experience and work experience. I'm now ready to feel fulfilled in the job that I am doing. So maybe you can come up with some of your own. You may have been that person at one point that had that problem, that had that difficulty, that had that experience. But you're not that person now, so why make a statement to the world that that's who you were? Because, in fact, the world, the universe, spirit doesn't see a difference between the past and the present. It sees it all as now. And so when you start to focus on what it is that you desire to tell the universe that you are, then everything like it starts to show up and create even more of that in your life. Don't deny your past. I'm not asking you to do that. And don't run away from it because it'll chase you. But you also don't want to be trapped by it. Does that make sense? So are you walking around with this big sign on your forehead that says divorced maybe, or went bankrupt, or disabled, or single and lonely, something like that? I'm not asking you to downplay the sorrow that you're feeling, not at all. Value that, honor that, and then allow it to just be set aside for a moment. I know it had to be really hard to go through some of the things that you've gone through, because I know it's been hard for me as well. And it's really difficult to not identify with those things and say, look, this is what I've overcome. But you know, the energy is in the having overcome it, which still carries that negative forward. Does that make sense? So don't deny your old life. Honor it as a stepping stone to who you've become. Celebrate who you are rather than who you were, because you are fabulous. The only man I know who behaves sensibly is my tailor. He takes my measurements anew each time he sees me. The rest go on their old measurements and expect me to fit them. That's George Bernard Shaw. And doesn't that make a lot of sense? I mean, we're constantly changing and evolving, so why not change our stories? We all have old measurements. I used to be this, I used to do that, I lived in that place, I had that profession, I was married to that person. Is it relevant now? Is it relevant to your highest and best? Is it relevant to living your best life now? And if it is, that's fine. But otherwise, it's baggage that you're carrying around. And are you ready to let it go? So let's look at the I am. What are you saying after the words, I am? We really have to be very, very diligent and vigilant about what we complete the sentence I am with, because there's a lot of power in that. Those are the most powerful words that we could ever speak, is I am. So think about something that you are perhaps becoming, perhaps not there completely, but can you say it in the present tense? I am healthy. I am prosperous. I am happy, peaceful, joyful. And maybe you have some words you'd like to say there. I am. So if you say, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm old, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm divorced, I'm unattractive, you are filling your consciousness, your vibration, with more reasons to feel that way. So are you willing to let those go and change your story instead? I know you are. I'm just here to remind you that sometimes, no matter how much work you might do, you can still fall into that trap because it's an old way of being. And sometimes those old ways of being are really comfortable, aren't they? So now every time that people see you, they think, well, there goes that person who went through the bad marriage and a hard divorce. Have you ever done that yourself, where someone has told you this terrible story, and every time you see them, that's all you think about? And it's not that you don't want to think about the good things about them, but we can't help but focus on the label or identity that someone has given themselves. And we're doing that to others by the stories that we tell as well. So what stories are you telling? What do you really want people to think about you? I mean, just close your eyes just for a second. What would you like people to be saying and thinking about you? And it's okay if you need to work through that. But after a while, enough is enough with the old stories. I'm afraid that if I get into a new relationship, I will repeat the old one. Have you ever heard anyone say that? Or maybe you have said that. And the thing is that just in that statement, there is so much energy, emotional energy, the fear around something happening if you move forward. And guess what? You do carry that into your future. So how could you reframe that and say that in a way that is positive? Perhaps it's, I know that as I move forward into a new relationship, that I will be filled with all the ideas I require for my highest and best. So here's a few questions. Are you the same person who married that person years ago? Or whatever the situation might be. Are you the same person who you were when you were divorcing, for instance? Or fill in the blanks for another situation. And are you likely to make the same mistakes again? Probably not, because you've learned from that. The thing is that what causes it to repeat is not so much that you haven't learned from it, is that you're still in the attracting the negative by telling the old story. Sort of like the hair transplant, that you have not transplanted something new into the story to transform all the old energy. Why, if you're a new person now, why would you assume you're going to do the same thing? Are you assuming that you're going to just continue to do the same thing? And if you are, it's just because you forgot to notice that you get to choose. You are the author of your life. You get to choose your new story. The fact is, you're not stuck, except in your mind, of course. And of course, the mind is everything. I know I don't want to be stuck in who I was. I know there are some people who say, oh, I'd love to be a teenager again with the wisdom of today. You notice that? With the wisdom of today. I wouldn't want to be the teenager again from the standpoint of physicality and all of those things with all of the ignorance that I had back then. Be great if I was that young and vibrant with all this wisdom. So what about labels? There's really a lot going on in the world right now having to do with labels. And we had this great conversation over coffee with a friend of mine this week. And it was talking about labels, that why is it when we're telling a story that we need to include labels? Maybe it's that old man I was speaking to, that black woman, that Chinese vendor, that 80-year-old person, that short person, that, or back when I was young, skinny, and vibrant, are also labels. So why do we need to do that? And can we each, as individuals, learn how to talk about situations, talk about life, talk about things that are going on without attaching labels to them. You know, I know that right now there's this real movement to being identified as he or she, as they or them, not so much it, but I guess the thing that I'm getting at is, can we be that neutral? And do we want to be that neutral in terms of how we are labeling our stories, labeling people? And what is appropriate and what isn't? And that may change in 5 years from now. Who knows? Just like it's changing now. You know, I was thinking about the idea of, can I talk about someone without referring to them as he or she? It's really challenging because it's really become a habit for me. How about you? And people really do like to label us. There's something about the human mind, the intellect, the ego, that has to fit everything into a box for some reason. And then you feel as though you've got control of the world. We think in terms of age, gender, race, culture, and even religion. Do you feel pigeonholed, limited, and small, maybe even inept? The crazy games that we play, the label games, you know, and they are a game. You know, is it because I'm trying to feel superior or less superior, or somehow boosting myself by using labels? I don't know. I'm in the early stages of that. I mean, there's even a movement now, and I speak a couple of different languages, so there's this movement like for the Italian language and the French language, because there are certain words that are feminine or masculine, like la pizza is feminine, and il diablo is negative, or not negative, but masculine. They're wanting to remove the gender even in language. And I don't know if that will ever happen. I'll have to learn Italian all over again, I guess. We label people by their diseases too. Oh, he has this disease, or he used to have AIDS and now he doesn't. Or she has that disease. And when you see this person, you automatically think of that disease because that's how you've labeled them. Or maybe you're being labeled that way. And what can you do to shift that? Well, you shift your own consciousness and your own awareness of how you're using labels. And slowly the labels that are attracted to you are also falling away. So when you say, how's your disease going, whatever that disease is, and you have good intentions, you may even want to help the person, but you are creating a stuckness and a label. The minute that you see them, you're stuffing them into a box when you think of them as the person who had cancer or the person who had some disease. Labels are really not acts of love for the most part. After a certain point, labels actually deny love, because if you're seeing the person as diseased or limited or an evil person, for instance, labels impede your vision of who that person truly is. And you don't see the person in the true light of who they are. You are an angelic soul, a being of godly light, a Holy Spirit, an expression of God. That's the only true vision, the only true label. Let's say that in the I, if that's comfortable. I am an angelic soul, a being of godly light, a Holy Spirit. I'm an expression of God. That's the only true vision and label of who I am. You are, everyone is, God in expression. And that's a very, very big and wonderful label. There's so much more to you than any labels that you may have given or given yourself. So take a moment to think about the names you were called or you called yourself. So just close your eyes for a minute. What did you call yourself? What labels did you give? Even as recently as this morning or yesterday. And are they still true of who you choose to be in this moment? Open your eyes. Do you have a nickname, or did kids put you down or make fun of you or bully you? Did you have memories of some of those things? Because they tend to stick with us. I remember my mother used to put my hair into a bun with one of those donut bun creators, so it looked like a donut on the top of my head. And my hair was really, really blonde. And so when it was pulled back, it looked like I was bald with this donut on the top of my head. And I used to have people call me big-eyed ostrich, because it looked like all I had was this really long neck. And at the time, I had really big eyes as well. And I was really ashamed of that. And it made me feel insecure. And so I walked around feeling insecure and didn't wear my hair up in a bun after that either. And so it's interesting how our nicknames or how we're perhaps bullied or made fun of carries on until we're adults. Is there something right now that you're using? I know this one young man who has a couple of kids, and he calls his children terrorists and nasty little beasts. And the thing is, he calls them to their face. And I mean, what is that creating? I know that he says it in a loving kind of way, but it's reinforcing the behavior, isn't it? So demeaning labels just don't apply. Let's just let them go. Only the attributes of God are really true about you. If it's true about God, it's true about you. So if it's not true about God, then it's also not true about you. When you affirm, pray, and meditate, I am love, it's a label, and love is so expansive that as a label, it takes you beyond labels. So say that with me now. I am love. Just breathe that in. I am love. So break beyond the labels. How about I am joy? I am whole. I am light. I am energy. Can you feel? They're so expansive. They're healing, actually. They're the kind of labels that help you to go beyond the labels that you might have been seeing yourself as. How about I am God? At some point, all the labels just merge into light. All the godly labels merge to wholeness and light. And when they do, you recognize your oneness with Spirit. Can you say that with comfort? I am God. You're not the totality of God, but you are everything that God is in expression as you. It doesn't mean that you're the only God. When you say, I am God, you must realize that everybody is God too. We're all God walking on earth. So like paper mache, that's exactly what happened to all of us. Did you ever do that where you created paper mache around a balloon and then it hardened and then you break the balloon and you have this crusty kind of a surface? We came in as that balloon, as divine light and as an expansive being. And then we had this paper mache put over us. And we started to believe that we're actually that paper mache, those strips of hardened surface. But we're actually not that. That is something that was given to us, that we took on. We are something so much more than that, so much more expansive. We are light, each of us. The spiritual path is about undoing these old lessons that we've been taught. It's about peeling away that which is not who you are. You're revealing that which is you, the true you, when you're on the spiritual path. The spiritual path is this great kind of undoer of the labels, of the paper mache, of all of the negativity. And so go out this week and have some fun with playing around with perhaps not using he or she, but using they. Or not describing people with labels. And see if you can have some fun in noticing how you go about describing things. So be who you were before you bought into the false labels. Be like the tailor and measure anew each new day, instead of using the measurements that somebody took 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or even 40 years ago. Be who you were before you bought into false labels. So what is your story? What are you telling people about the I am? What labels are you not only carrying around about yourself that no longer serve you? Or what labels are you using about others that really no longer serves them either? So let's anchor with the idea of now by Harry Lewis.
Now it is dawn, I am where I belong, I am here, I am whole, I am waking. Now I can see, I can get all I need, it is here within me for the taking. Now I unfold and I feel in my soul I am free, I am whole, I am making every day. Like a leaf on the ocean, tossed here and there, feeling fear and despair, mixed emotions. Then I woke up one day, I decided to pray, I stopped running away. I believe I can give and receive endless love, endless peace, endless pleasure. Now only faith from my heart radiates all the world. I am raised without measure every day. This I vow here and now.
Join with me in this prosperity affirmation. From the love of pure spirit in me, I bless all that I give. It goes forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith in the good in my life. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. I am prosperous. So let's say yes to life with Eddie Watkins Jr. Sing along.
I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes to life, yes to life. Right now, the spirit of love within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of joy within me is expressing itself right now. What are we gonna create today? The universe is ready to play. Yes, spirit surely must lead the way. If we just say yes. I'm saying yes. Yes, yes to life. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes to life. I'm saying yes to life. Yes to life. Right now. The spirit of life within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of life within me is expressing itself right now. Whatsoever you conceive, if you believe it, you can achieve it. The universe will always agree. If you just say yes. I'm saying yes. Yes, yes to life. I'm saying, say it, yes. Yes to life. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. Yes to life. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes to life. I'm saying yes to life. Right now. Yes to life. Say it, say yes. Say yes. I'm saying yes to life. Say yes to life. I'm saying yes to life. Right now. I'm saying yes to life.
Yes to life. Join with me in this closing prayer, saying yes to life. The infinite mind of God, which is my mind, fills my consciousness with all I need to live a full and happy life. I follow the guidance. I am peaceful. I release all fear. I am living love, and so it is. And know that you can send us prayer requests through our website. We're here for you. And let's end with Holy, Holy Way by Ricky Byers-Beckwith and Emilio Zaras.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love all. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Sing. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me share the good that overflows. Let me share the good that overflows. Oh, let my stance rebuild a path of peace. Let my stance rebuild a path of peace. Oh, let me talk each day a little kinder. Let me talk each day a little kinder. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Thank you, everyone. And we really appreciate your donations. So if this has touched you in some way, we love to receive your generous offerings. Thank you so much. And I have a special request for you. If you have enjoyed the music that you're hearing, some of them have been requests from people like you. So send us in more requests. You can put them in the comments below here, or you can send us an email through our website. Emilio and I are always looking for some fresh new lyrics, some fresh new ideas that are spiritual songs to move us in this journey that we're on together. So stay on the line for more information on how you can send us donations. And if you have really enjoyed this, please share this video with your friends. Let them know, because everyone deserves to live an empowered life. So bye for now. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.